Hello and welcome, I'm Mystical, this is Mystical Gaming, we're back in the Watcher Realms and it's time for Gear Dungeon 2 Stage 10. As you can see, there's no pod because I haven't done it yet. I've had a push on the last couple of weeks, so we've done Stage 7 and 8, got them smashed out. Stage 9 we've just about done. Some Wukong has come in clutch for me, he's really helped me out just with how I do it. And then this is my first run through on Stage 10 where we actually clear it through, so we'll have a run through on that. Okay, so the Wrath, we'll break the video up and we'll put some chapters in down below, so we'll have like the intro, the gear, the run, and then the gear, so you can jump around to bits that you want, and I'll probably break it down into bottom, top and left hand side or something like that, and if you stuck on a certain area you can have a look around, and then we'll discuss as we go through and watch if you watch the whole video, we'll discuss on other champions or other things you can use there. Okay, so that's the rough plan for the video. Let's jump in and have a run through on Gear Dungeon 2 Stage 10. So here's the team we're using. I think BP wise you can come a lot lower than that, and I do need very much to get myself out of the way. I think that's okay. So first hero down, Volker. Now she goes down first because Elwyn can come down afterwards. Now I place Elwyn above her and facing to the left hand side of the screen, and the reason we do this is because Elwyn is in the invigoration set, so she's going to give the buff to Volker, so Volker can do a bit more damage for us. Now the next thing to bear in mind is I'm using Edith. Edith is absolutely top draw, feel free to use her. If you're not using Edith, there are some other options for you. So you can use other champions as opposed to just Edith. Now these are the sort of two options you can use. There's a 3-star hero. When he closes up his shop, he can come out and do this for you, and he's got that knockback effect for you, and he's got that on his ultimate, so you can trigger it yourself. Absolutely top draw. Build him up nice and tanky, you can use him. I was using him in the early stages, but I've had a run of only pulling Edith recently. My last 3 legendaries have all been Edith, so you know, I think the game was telling me something, so we're using her. The other hero there is an absolute disaster. She's not worth the resources. I had her first, built her up to 60, chucked some skill crystals into her, and she is terrible. The issue is it's an RNG whether she does the knockback. So whilst that's not too bad on mob 1 right at the start of your run, mob 32, 33-ish, whenever the next one comes up, if you don't get RNG in your favour, then that's a disaster for you. Now she was advertised by the devs as she can hold a single lane all by herself, so I have asked if they can show us how that's done, and since then I've heard flipping nothing from them. They haven't shown that at all, which is a bit of a shame, I feel. So there we go. Now the other thing about her, the other thing I really dislike about her, I suppose, is this: the fact that she's highly recommended. I would highly recommend not using her at all, and given the choice, use a 3-star hero. So that would be my take on it, and this is why she's my most hated champion, because she's advertised to do so much and she does so little. The other thing to bear in mind now, if you're using fighters, down the bottom you're going to have 2 fighters. Right, so over on the right hand side of the screen we can see that we've got 3 more mobs coming up. Now they're going to double up, so when their timer runs out they will come into 6 mobs and they will come down that bottom lane. Now bear this in mind, if this is happening for you and you're using 2 fighters, you're going to have 6 mobs coming down, you're going to have to block 6, which means either your fighters are going to have artifacts on to counter the block, or you're using enough knockback effect and enough damage to kill them off prior to them getting to you. Okay, so they're your sort of options if you're using a fighter. If you're using a defender like Edith, then she's got the block of 3, chuck the artifact on, and there's 4, and you've got a fighter behind her. You can put anything you like on your Volker, because then you're using up your 6 block. Okay, so bear that in mind going forward if your team is using 2 fighters. Now the idea with Edith and also with your 3-star is when this mob's dead, he has a nice big glow around him, and then that's when you want to knock him back. Now with Edith and the 3-star, that's on their ultimate, so you can trigger that and you're in control of it. With the use as legendary, it's done on RNG, and the RNG isn't particularly good. Okay, so there we go. Here it is, push back, job done. Now, we set our tanks down. Now, tank-wise, I've gone with Northerners. Why wouldn't you? They're good, and we get an Olag. Now, Olag is almost unkillable, so we're using him. He's a fantastic option. Now the boss on the top right is coming down. He takes physical damage and magical damage heals him. This is where we've placed some Wukong. He's down in there and he comes in under the healing umbrella of Eloin, so that's really nice for him. Okay, we've got plenty of time for the boss to come down. When the boss comes down, Sun Wukong will have his ultimate all built up, and as we know, his ultimate is absolutely fantastic, so he's going to melt the boss for us. So, or the clone. So this is the clone coming down. Here he comes now. There's his ultimate triggering off. Loads of him about, boom, and there's the screenshot done of, or there's the shot done of him killing everything. Now, on the right hand side, when the next clone coming over on the right hand side is magic damage, they've got a red shield around them. Now, Xena is absolutely fantastic at this. Boss is coming in range, there she's straight on her ultimate. That's all she's good for, is piling off damage as soon as she arrives. And she is top draw for this little space here. Look at her go, boom, 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 and there is the boss pretty much melted and gone. So we can get rid of her, and then on the top side I use Hattie. Now let's discuss this top side. So the top side, there are, I want to say, some options, but that may not be strictly true. Now my guess is that you could use Nyx or you could use Razak. Now I haven't tried them, so I don't know for definite. I would imagine they're a possibility because they both do physical and they both do AoE. Now, Nyx is quite slow at getting her ultimate off, so you'd have to get her down as early as possible to get that ultimate going through, or you might have to get some more passive rage regen on her to actually get that ultimate coming up in time, so bear that in mind if you're using her. And then there's Razak as well. So I think they're two options, but I haven't tried them out, so bear that in mind. The other thing to bear in mind that is when you're using someone else up there is you do want to use them with this artifact. So this artifact here, it increases damage by 10%. Okay, that's a whatever. When dealing damage, restores 3% of the hero's max HP, so that's where we're getting the healing from there. They don't need a healer because they're using this damage all the time and they've got the artifact on, so bear that in mind. Also bear in mind you can get that from the shop, you can't get it from the forge when you're forging normal artifacts. You have to be forging wisdom or gleaming meteorites. For some reason it's not in the normal ones, so if you're not doing gleaming meteorites or wisdom pieces, then you can't roll that up in the forge, you have to buy it from the shop, so bear that in mind as well. Right, onwards with the run. So that's Hattie down now. She's going to take care of the ads for us that are piling up on the top, and I've got some Wukong still going on the left hand side. Now he's quite happy taking care of stuff. I haven't got to get rid of him yet, so I don't bother. That's essentially it. There are a few more ads that come down on the left hand side, and he's happily there taking them out for us. Now on the right hand side, no, at the top, coming down to the left hand side, we've now got our next clone. Our next clone takes magic damage. Now I'm using a Nocturne here, so a couple of things. One, I wait for that boss to go, that clone to go past before I trigger Hattie's ultimate, and then she kills off the mobs. I then wait until the boss does his AoE. Once his AoE is done, that's the moment for me to put Nox down. So here we go. There goes Nocturne, straight after the boss has done his AoE. Now, again, Nocturne probably not the only one we can use. There are a few other options available to us. Now, I'm assuming Hex is available and good to use. Obviously, as we all know, I don't have a Hex on this account. I do have his ultimate. I have his exclusive, but I don't have any Hex at all. And then there she is. Now she is absolutely fantastic. Single target magic damage. She is awesome at this. So if you don't have a Nocturne, I've got a little soft spot for Nocturne. I think he was the first legendary I got. I've been using him since then, and he's absolutely fantastic. I love him to bits. So I've got a little soft spot for him. And he's also a Northerner, which ties in with the whole Northerner theme going on with the Lord skill coming in there. Now, you can use either of these other two, I'm fairly certain. I have used her, little snake woman. I haven't used Hex because I don't have one. But like I say, soft spot for Nocturne. So Nocturne's going to come in there and he's going to take care of the boss for us. Now, because we've got that space behind our tank Olag and before we've got Nocturne up. There's a space there where we can place that Wood Elf, and that Wood Elf fits in there just right for us. Okay, now mages, if you're using a mage, they don't have an artifact where they're going to heal themselves from, so bear that in mind as well. If you're using a mage, you'll want that space behind, and you can time your Wood Elf to go up there and take up that healing for you. So the AoE will go off, and then that elf is going to heal us up back through it. Okay, so there we go. It's not for the tank, not worried about that. The Nocturne comes quite close to dying, and then boom and boom, we're back up on full health for us. Okay. Now, the other thing I'm doing with Hattie is I've used Hattie's ultimate as soon as it comes up, or as soon as it's available, to take out the ads that have now arrived up on the top right hand side of the screen. It's because my Hattie cannot take them out in one hit, so I use the ultimate as fast as I can, so she's got time for it to come round again, or I can use it again. Okay, so that's what she's doing there. Nocturne I keep up for as long as possible. Here's the next Bloodlight. It doesn't matter if he dies now, so he comes fairly close, but it's not an issue. His ultimate's just going, so I just keep him up there. Now, the next thing I have to do is Hattie's ultimate is up again. I use that, and that gets rid of the ads for me. And now I am just going to have to get rid of Nocturne, and I'm going to replace again with some Wukong. So there's Nocturne still using his ultimate. I can recall Nocturne, get some Wukong down, and that's pretty much it. There is the handover done, and also we can see Xena's available, ready to come straight back up as soon as that boss starts moving. As soon as that boss starts moving, we put Xena up, and as soon as Sun Wukong's ultimate's up, we will trigger that. So Sun Wukong's ultimate's triggered off, that's going to take care of the boss on the left hand side. Now, the right hand side, here we go. Now, you have to be aware of this. Right, so that right hand side, we have to know what's going on there. So the mob that's coming along, or the clone that's coming along, takes magic damage to kill it. When it takes physical damage, it heals itself. So we've got Hattie there, and that mob is in range of Hattie, so when Hattie is hitting away, then that mob is going to heal themselves. So you need to have enough damage on your Xena to not only kill the boss, but also overcome the healing that Hattie is giving to that clone. So if we have a watch of it, we can see now that as they come forward, as that boss comes forward, there you go, the boss is being healed up, and that's because Hattie's healing it. Now, this is the reason we're not using her ultimate to kill off the ads behind her, because we need to get the boss done first. If you use her ultimate, then you'll really heal up that boss, and that boss is just going to survive for you, okay? So bear that in mind. There's the boss dead. Now we can trigger off Hattie's ultimate whenever we like, and we can get rid of Xena. So Xena's gone. The mobs at the top right that Hattie's taking care of, that is the last lot of mobs that need to be taken out. So when they're done, there will be no more mobs coming in. We can see we're now at 30 out of 40. Now, the other thing to bear in mind, we had a warning come up. That warning meant that the next, on the bottom row, the next mob that comes along that needs knockback has just arrived on the scene. So we need to make sure that we can knock that mob back, okay? So whoever you're using, make sure you're building up their ultimate, or fingers crossed that you've got some RNG available, because you can have a big explosion going on down there. Okay, now the other thing to bear in mind is across the top is now our next mob that's going to take magic damage, and we've still got some Wukong down there, so we're going to have to remove some Wukong, and then we're going to have to place our Nocturne down. Okay, so a lot of things going on, and that's mostly what this level's about. We lost Hattie, no great shakes, we're not bothered by that at all. We place down Nocturne, and then we need to withdraw our Sun Wukong, and we need to make sure that we've got Edith's ultimate available. We're just waiting for that mob to die. When that mob dies, then Edith can trigger her ultimate, and that will be everything done for us, okay? But there's a lot of things that happen in very short order, then you've got a bit of a span to wait, and then you've got a lot of things to do again, okay? So it's just making sure that you stay on top of all these bits going on. So there's the mob at the bottom, almost dead. There it's dead, and now we trigger Edith's ultimate. We get rid of some Wukong. Now, because there's so much happening, this is where it all goes wrong for me, okay? So bear this in mind. But it's not unrecoverable. So, Bloodbath is about to go off, and we've got the Wood Elf available. But because there's so much going on, and I'm making sure that the knockback works, I'm not watching what's happening with Nocturne. And Nocturne gets killed. So I now have the boss the clone coming down from the left hand side and the clone from the right hand side. I've got no one there to kill them at all, and everyone's on cooldown. Okay, so that sort of an issue for me, but Xena to the rescue. She's only got 5 seconds left on her cooldown, so she can come up and do the left hand side for me. I can put her, absolutely fantastic, there she goes, slot her straight in, and she's going to do some damage on that boss on that clone for me. There she goes, straight into her ultimate. Melts the boss, absolutely fantastic. We do love her. The next bloodbath is coming along. It's not such an issue because we've only got Olag out, and then everyone else is under the healing bubble. Now, the only other thing to bear in mind is we've got one more mob on the top lane, but we do not have to worry about that too much. Now, the reason for this is, if we just have a look at this, so this is what the mobs actually do and what actually happens with them. So, ritual summon flesh, ritual summon spirit. They either summon a physical or magical clone, and they take either physical or magical damage to destroy them. But it's the second part of this that's important. If the clone has not been destroyed within 60 seconds, it will detonate violently, as opposed to the stuff that detonates non-violently, dealing massive damage to all targets within 3 tiles. Okay, so that's what's going to happen. Now, there's no way we're going to kill the one at the top within the 60 seconds because we're already quite a way through that already, so that's not going to happen. So they will blow up by themselves. So I can just put some more damage down on the top. I've had Hattie come back round, so I place her down at the bottom there. I've still got Torador, whose only job really is to be a lord and give lord skills. So the bottom is being done for us, and the top we're just waiting for the explosion. So if we have a look right at the top, we've got 40 out of 40 mobs available, so we just have to kill the mobs that we've got here. There's the bottom run pretty much taken care of. Last couple of mobs to actually do, and there we go. There's an explosion at the top, completely destroys herself, kills Olag in the explosion as well. However, doesn't carry on walking, so it's not as if that clone lives from that. That clone dies as well, and that's your run complete. So that is my first run complete. There we go, we've got the victory, and we've got the all-important 3 stars. So that's the first time we've ever done that. So that's my run through. A couple of little changes you can do, like remember to put the wood elf down. That would help your Nocturne or whatever you've got up there doing the magic damage. But essentially that's my run through. So that's a run actually done. So a quick one. The Torador's got some gear on him, but he's not important because he wasn't actually used anywhere. He is only used for the skill of being a lord. So that's all Torador's used for. So that's pretty much all we do with him. Again, you can have anyone in there realistically. Volca, I've done up mostly in DPS sort of gear, so she's up for DPS. Skills are all done, and she's got her own exclusive artifact. Right, there's Hattie's gear. I use her quite often. She's absolutely fantastic hero, so if you've got her, use her. And there's the artifact, of course, so we can get the healing done out of her. And skill wise, she is all done, and awakening's not done. It's not a massive pay account, so there we go. Right, Sun Wukong, obviously. Skills are all done. There's his gear, and he is fully awakened. We did go strong on Sun Wukong. There we go, and he's got his own exclusive artifact coming on. So yeah, he was massively helpful for me. Again, the next really helpful champion, Xena. So she just scales so well. You can get away with minimal gear on her, I would imagine. There's the gear I've got on her, but then I've hardly touched any of her skills. So you could easily do less gear and easily do more skills. Awakening's not done, and then artifact, she's just got on for a bit of range. So oh, she's got the wrong artifact on, so there we go. Should have changed that. That would have made life a lot easier for us. Who else we got? There we go. The start of our Northerners and Defenders. So this is the first Defender we've got on. The damage isn't massive, to be honest, particularly if you're in with healing range, but it's an epic, so skills are all done and fully awakened. And artifact wise, we've just got a Bastion Ring on, as all Defenders pretty much have on anyway. And then Olag, gear wise, oh, he has got his gear on. It's not fantastic gear, and he lives quite happily, and we didn't have an artifact on him. There we go. So, oh well. Nocturne, he's been geared up for years pretty much this way. I have got one awakening on him, and artifact-wise, he's got his own artifact on. There isn't a healing artifact for him, which is why we have to put the wood elf down there to actually heal him away. And then Edith. So we have got 2 awakenings done on her. Like I say, the last 3 legendaries I've pulled have all been Edith. I stuck damage orientated gear on her, so I've gone defense and crit rate, defense and crit rate, defense and crit rate. Get that crit rate up and just get a bit more damage on her. I had more of an issue with killing the mobs coming through than I did actually tanking up the damage, so that's where I was with it. And then artifact bastion ring on again, just for that extra 1. You've got the 6 coming down. She will stop 3 plus that 1, that will give her a 4, and then you've got Volker behind her who blocks 2, and then she can have any artifact on as well. Okay, so that's where she sits. Right, so here's Elwyn, and the gear we've got on her is much more orientated towards doing Apocalypse, so she's got a bit more HP on her to take some hits. So the healing she does, and she's not fully skilled up, she'll probably do that at some point. They've got a golden scarab on her as well, just give her a 5% increase in attack, which will help out her healing, and that rage regen comes around as well. So that's all we've got on Edith. So that's the gear actually done for the champions. Like I say, I've overdone gear. Torador could be completely naked, that would make no odds. So that's gearing done. That was my run through. Have you got different combinations of heroes you use? Who do you want to see being used? I'm quite happy if we've got the heroes, we can chuck them in to see how they work out, and we can do some other runs. So leave down in the comments below who you fancy having a look at, or who you actually use. Help out some other people coming through. So that's me done for the day. Thank you very much for your time. If you leave me the old thumbs up, like and subscribe, would help me out massively, and I'll see you all in a video again soon. Cheers. Goodbye.